Hello, my name is indeed Bowie the Hero. This is Final Fantasy Adventure. It is otherwise known as Seiken Densetsu 1 or Mystic Quest regarding wherever you are in the world. It's the first game in the Mana series. It is a top-down action RPG on the original Game Boy, released in 1991. It is very, very cool. Before I begin, I do have some names to input. I believe people have been donating for the names of Sumo and Fuji. So can I get those names, please, CC?
I just refreshed, and with $189.74, Scott, S-C-O-T, is going to be Sumo.
Wow.
And
Thank you
Livy,
so much,
L-I-V-I, is going to be Fuji with $89.74.
Wow, thank you so much indeed, everyone, for donating towards that. It's incredible. Thank you so much. So Scott and Livy, there we go. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for those donations. Okay, I've got... What is my estimate? I can't really remember what my own estimate is. 45 minutes. Ah, great. Fantastic. Okay, so I'll crack on, and then I'll take you through the world of Final Fantasy Adventure. So let's get ready on that time in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so, as I said, top-down action RPG. This first fight is a quite simple thing. I'm going to attack twice and get knocked to the left, and then keep myself close to the boss by being able to attack him, waiting for those iframes to run out. You'll notice as well that I throw out an attack just after the enemy exploded, because when enemies are defeated or bosses are defeated, they explode, but their explosions still have hitboxes. So I actually hit that flame that came out of the jackal. I'm going to fight another jackal, and when that jackal comes out, it's going to be on the same tile set as the previous boss, and it will come out flashing, taking a hit immediately, which is a nice little thing I like to call boss damage rollover. It's a very early bit of tech at the very, very beginning. But basic story is that, as you just read, Scott is a fighter for the Empire of Glyve and has been fighting in an arena for the entertainment of Dark Lord, and his friend Willie sadly passes away from his wounds from battle, telling Scott to make his way out into the world and find a knight called Bogard, a Gemma knight called Bogard, who might be able to help them with the waning power of mana. So on this second fight, we're going to make our way through the gate. So here we go. We saw he had his extra explosion when he came out there, which means there's only one less hit to kill this guy. And off we crack. So we scale the wall outside of Glyve and make our way to a pond, and we will meet Dark Lord, the evil lord of the Glyve Empire, and his attendant Julius. Now, I should talk about the category because that's one of the things. This is any percent. I have run this game before, back in 2016, at Limit Break, with the any percent warpless category, which is the full game with no warps. And obviously the story's lovely, and it, for a 1991 Game Boy game, has quite an elaborate and fascinating story. Where Sumo or Scott goes through many trials to become a Gemma Knight himself, but is met with the difficulty of fighting against the darkness and the people who want to destroy the world, and goes through these moments of doubting himself, but from the support of everyone around him, gains the courage to become a true Gemma Knight. But we're going to say sod that to all of the story, and we're just going to do the very beginning of the game and then use a variety of different but interesting warps to get very much to the end of the game and complete it at as low a level as possible. This is a very RNG heavy run. Both warpless and warps are pretty much like that, but however, it is actually quite a marathon safe run, which is quite weird, because grinding at the end of the game is very, very efficient. So we'll be able to gain a bunch of extra levels and then gain enough defense to survive the ending. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to make a quick safety save, because you never know with this game. Now, the beginning of this game opens up with me running out into the field, and I'm going to do a little grind. But this grind is not what you think it's for. It's not for experience. It's actually for money, because we're going to start off this run, and indeed any run of Final Fantasy Adventure, with a glitch, which is very, very cool. So here we have our leveling up system. So there are 4 stats: power, stamina, will, and wisdom. And these all operate on different things. So strength will give you 2 strength and 1 stamina, 1 will. Wisdom will give you 2 wisdom, 1 stamina, 1 will. Stamina will give you 2 stamina, 1 power, 1 will. And then will is 2 will, 1 wisdom, and 1 stamina. You don't really need to know all that, but I'm telling you anyway. Essentially, I can build my character the way I want. And it's actually very important for any run, really, to build physical. There used to be a little bit more competition between wisdom and physical builds, but as time's gone on, we found that physical was just a bit better. But it's specifically necessary for this category, because we don't really get any magic, so yeah. Now, as I said, I'm grinding for money. What I'm grinding toward is 140 GP, because that is the cost of an item called an Iron Helm. I'm going to buy that helm, and then I'm going to get some glitches going to rapidly increase my defense to a huge amount. I'm actually going to save and reset here because the spawns are a bit bad. That's very nice, thank you. So the reason I'm going after the goblins, they look like cats, but they're goblins. I'm going after them because they're worth 3 gold, and the mushbooms, or the myconids, are worth just 1. So I want to get to 140 ASAP. There we go, perfect. I'm also going to grab these items. Now, normally I would ignore those chests, because I don't want to grab candy, because they heal 8 HP, not very helpful. Welcome to Topple. But I don't really need them normally, but I'm going to grab them now for a very specific thing at the end of the run. It might be necessary, it might not. I'll talk about it if it is necessary, but it is just a marathon safety thing that I do. Now, here's our first glitch. I'm going to move the iron helmet into the second slot. What this does is it thinks that the first slot, which is now empty, is the end of the list. So it overwrites any defensive value with the number that slot is, and it counts from 1 to 12 up from the bottom. So that actually means that the Iron Helm now has 11 defense rather than 4. So we just gain a massive amount of defense, and now I'm going to be taking 1 damage from every single enemy for a while, which is very important because it allows me to build power in the early part of the run and get very, very strong without sacrificing any HP. Because damage values in this game are additive. So the enemy's damage roll minus your defense equals damage taken. Simple as that. So by gaining, 11 defense at the very beginning of the run, suddenly we're not taking any damage at all. So with that, I'm going to be going on a long little trip to go find Bogard. So I'll throw it over to CC if you have anything you want to tell the lovely folks at home.
Well, you are getting a ton of love right now. We have a $10 anonymous donation with no comment. We have a 200 donation from Dark Enigma. Greetings, good Sir Bowie. Wish you all the best of luck for your run. I actually finished this game just 2 days ago for the first time, and it still holds up so well. Don't let Julius get one of those spoons you love so much because he had enough on me already. Snap it in with $25 with no comment. Hataro Hino with $25. Glad to see RPG Limit Break is back, smiley face. $256 from Vaxherd. I tried coming up with a 4-letter name, but the only 4 letters that came to mind were GLHF. Good luck and have fun, Bowie. $10 from Zater. Love the Mana games. And $25 from K Fizzle. I can't believe I get to watch Bowie run one of my favorite childhood games. I remember having the fold-out map for this game that my brother and I had made all sorts of notes on and beaten multiple times. I loved watching you run Terranigma a few years back, and it made me need to play it. It took a few years, but I finally got a chance to play it, and Terranigma became one of my favorite SNES games of all time. For that alone, you will always be a hero to me, Bowie. Thank you to everyone that made this marathon possible.
Well, thank you so much for the lovely words. That's very, very kind. I'm glad you enjoyed the Terranigma run as well. There, it is an amazing game, and it was a pleasure to run it at Limit Break. So yeah, thank you. Super kind donations as well. Wow, appreciate it. So we found Bogard. Bogard is he tells us the history of the war that the tribe of Mana went under alongside the Vandalian Empire. This is a name that if you've played Mana games before, you would have heard. The Vandal Empire comes up quite a lot. They are kind of the main antagonists of the Mana series. And essentially, many years ago, a woman holding the pendant that Fuji or Livy has on her around her neck. Please, excuse me. The Chibi Devils are really annoying. They actually hit you for like 10 damage, so that's why the helmet's really good. They were trolling me a little bit, bless them. Okay, so yeah. now that we know what we need to do, because Bogard says that we want to go to use the mattock or the pickaxes in the chest behind him, and allows us to get through that cave, so we can make our way towards eventually Wendell and meet the old man Kibber. Now this would happen if I wasn't doing the any percent category, because we're going to be skipping all of that segment. I am going to do the first 2 dungeons, but then we'll start getting crazy. Now, it's very important to note that this game does have NPCs that are party members that do affect the game. So there's an ask command. I'm going to use it down here. You can ask your friends to help you. And what Livy does as the Maiden of Mana is she casts regen on us. So we get a nice regen, which is very, very helpful if we ever get hit with poison. So it's nice to introduce you to the ask command quite early. You know, we know what this mechanic does, and every single character that joins the party has a different ask command. Be it, you know, curing poison or selling you items, it doesn't matter, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. So, what we're going to do is going to go stay at this manor. We're going to have a nice evening where Livy teaches us the cure spell by giving us a book of cure. A magic book which teaches us a spell. However, overnight, she gets captured. A new victim! Lucky that we got a cure spell after we lose the character that helps us heal up. This game is of its time, I'll say that. I say that very lovingly, because I think it's incredible for its time. But it does have a few things that are quite tricky, and notably, its enemy hitboxes. They're very, very weird. And it's hard to explain how they all work in the scope of a speedrun. But essentially, when enemies move, when they start moving a pixel beyond their current square they're on, they will snap to the next half tile. Because this game works in half tiles. It's hard to explain it again. But if I was to like tap left, right, up, or down, I would move a half tile, as you can see me kind of doing like that. Now those half tiles are very rigid in the structure of the movement. And it allows for very specific context-sensitive combat. So the sword, for example, will slice if you press A, like by itself. But if you hold a direction and press A, you stab. And this is a big difference, and allows us to do one of our like earlier techniques called stutter slicing, where you can move and slice by tapping the button to move, but whilst you're in the process of moving, letting go of the directional button and then pressing A. So you move and slice, because those pixels in between the half tiles matter. So this is why when enemies move, their hitbox immediately moves to the next half tile that they're moving to when they move one pixel in, because everything is half tile based. Movement and positioning and sprites are all based on this half tile. And I want to bring this up now because it will be important about 10 minutes later, as I do a very particular set of glitches. But at first, however, I have to do this particular dungeon normally. So I will be doing this normally. What I'm first of all going to do, equip the sickle. This game's very good at teaching you by playing. So you use the ice physics there to slide you into the center, but you can't get out because the ice physics are more like a conveyor belt than actually sliding you in one direction. So you get stuck in that center with the chest, and you get a sickle. And what can you do with the sickle? Well, I don't know. But there are loads of leaves around you, so you try throwing the sickle at the leaves and it cuts them down. And I think that's what's really exciting about this game, is it does have context-sensitive combat, yes, but also context-sensitive exploration. There are things that are only, breakable with certain items or certain equipment, and it's really fascinating at how well they've built it. So, I haven't really talked about it because it doesn't really matter, but talking with NPCs is done by pressing into them. So when you move into an NPC, you talk to them. Which isn't helpful if I try to run past that red mage who gets in the way and then spends like 15 minutes talking to you. But anyway, the next thing that is important is RNG, because it's a horrific run to do this run in world record like situations, or like going for attempts. There's a 1 in 16 chance for every enemy that you kill, or enemies that have droppable items, to drop a chest. 1 in 16. Now I want these land leeches, or flying fish as I call them, to drop their chests, because they contain an item called a mattock. I've already got one of those, but there's only 7 per stack. When you get a mattock drop, you get 7 in the stack. Now, because of marathon safety, if I don't get any, I will just crack on. Thank you. Woo! Perfect. I would go and buy them elsewhere, but that is time lost. So thank you very much for the item drop. Very, very good timing. I also would like to fill up my inventory. Again, I've been mentioning that I'm grabbing chests I don't normally get. That is to fill up my inventory. There is also HP and MP recovery when you get a level up. Now this is actually important in the Warpless category because I actually use level ups specifically to get like precise HP and like to survive hit by certain things, so I don't have to go into the menu to heal or anything like that. It's an optimization thing. But yeah. Right then, our first boss of the game outside of the Jackal is the Twin Head Hydra, which is very cool. It, however, can be a bit of RNG if it decides to come in really far like that. Good. It can either like not move that far into the pond, or it can move very, very deep into the pond. And you want it to move deep into the pond so you can get more hits out onto it. Got it. And I'm also timing these as well as I can to like hit the head as they come round. There we go. Very nice fight. Excellent. I'm going to quickly heal up for safety's sake, and then as I make my way back to the first manor, I'll throw it back to CC for any messages.
Yeah, we've got $25 from Vento Livre. Let's go, Bowie. Go get that Dork Lord and show him why you're the best. Damn. And then we have $100 from Folded Paper Figures. A few years back, I stumbled across a Shining Force 2 run that included a magical musical number involving meeting old ladies in the woods. I've been a fan of the event and Bowie ever since. Good luck, and here's to a great rest of the week for everyone involved.
Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, that was a Shining Force 2 run of some enjoyable nature. I was working alongside my friend Cruncher to bring a musical to you all. I should complete that musical. I'll get round to it, I swear. Oh my god, that's so lucky. Okay, good. So we did the previous Marsh Cave to get the mirror item, and the mirror is an item that reveals the true form of everyone. And the attendant who would have been blocking our path to the east of this manor is actually a werewolf. Oh. It is October, so nice and spoopy Halloween stuff for you, including pumpkins. But yeah, so that allows us to get into the manor proper, and we can go and find Fuji, who's been obviously taken by the lord of the manor. So what's kind of important to note is that I just got a drop called a crystal. Now these are very important to the speedrun, and if I'm doing a world record attempt, I want at least two. At least 2, which is obviously quite a lot. That you got to hope for 2 1 in 16s. 3 is amazing, 4 is overkill, but I'll take it. So what the crystal item does is, if you may have noticed along the bottom of the screen, there's that bar that's slowly building up when I'm not doing anything. So I'm just running around. There's that gauge that is slowly building. That is the will meter. And what the will meter does is it does two different things. First off, it's a damage multiplier. That is not the right move. Yeah, it's a damage multiplier, so it's at maximum it's ×2 damage for physical, ×3 damage for magic attacks. But also when you are at max, you do a kind of special attack. And for the sword, you have 2 variants of this, whether you're stabbing or swiping. Oh my god, this owl is trolling me. So yeah, you have what's called a flying sword attack or a spin attack. And the flying sword attack has iframes, which are going to be very, very important for when I'm fighting the final boss of this game. And what the crystal does is it maximizes that gauge. So that gauge is very important, but as you can see, it's very slow. So the crystal, just instantly filling it, is a massive boon to that final boss fight. I'm going to run around because I have to. I'm also going to save, just in case I decide to do some silly movement. This game is very unforgiving. If you you can just die at any point, and then you cry. And if you haven't saved, because saving is like one button, you save and it's done. But if you don't save, you can lose so much progress. I've never lost massive amounts of progress in a marathon run. Knock on wood. But you never know. Maybe one day. So, we've almost saved Fuji. I'm almost there. But I get one little cool, I'd say glitch here. I'm not going to press that chest into the button. I'm going to hit it into the button. I don't know why specifically that one works that way, but it does. That is actually good. I want that. Good. But yeah, when you attack the chest into the button, it like activates the button, which is really, really handy. There are loads of times when that helps out and does do a lot of good for us in the Warpless run. There's loads of kind of small, tiny optimizations that we can get in this game just by doing stuff like that. And again, you wouldn't see it in this category, but off we go. Okay, we have saved Livy. Well done, Scott. So we have access to regen if we ever want to cast regen on ourselves. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run all the way back to the beginning of the dungeon. So we've got like, I guess, half a minute, 45 seconds for some more donations or any other messages you'd like to read again, CC.
Great job, Scott. Way to go. We have $25 from Tim and Paul. It's great to see Bowie the Hero and Final Fantasy Adventure on RPG Limit Break this year. Thanks to everyone for supporting Nami and for helping to put on this great event. And $5 from Tiny Tim. Hey all, donating for the man himself, the legendary Bowie the Hero, and the Final Fantasy Adventure run. It was amazing to be able to hang out a bit with you at ECA this year. And I hope to do so again. Take care and good luck on the run. Cheers.
Cheers, Tim. Appreciate it, bud. Okay, I'm going to save just in case because my HP's down to 1. Actually, no, I'm going to do that instead. Another crystal. Yay. Can I please get 1 smiling face emoji in chat? Thank you. Now, despite the fact that I have plenty of health and plenty of defense, poison is still a murderous status ailment. It ticks. It's basically opposite of regen. It ticks for 6 or 7 ticks of a certain amount of HP based on your max HP, whereas regen does 6 or 7 ticks. I say 6 or 7 because you can sometimes cancel one by doing certain things, which isn't relevant to this run at all. But there are some cool things you can do by like attacking or moving in certain ways to kind of catch the tick timing of the poison. It's really weird. But yeah, I am going to save before this boss because it can sometimes catch me out. It shouldn't, but you know. Okay, so this is suddenly we're going to become Castlevania for a moment. Big old vampire. There we go. Didn't get caught out. Good. Very nice. 1 hit, move, and then get nice 5 hits out. Now I'm not mashing this. I am pressing attack at very specific intervals because if you actually mash, you actually get sometimes like less good. Like timings and rhythms on your whip. Okay, so if you've seen this, the Warpless run before, if you've played this game before, you'd normally head south to go to Wendell. Because there you go, Wendell's to the south. Let's hurry. Now, Livy, that's a great idea, and honestly, I agree. However, I'm a cheater. So, I'm going to face this way. Now, what's happening here is I'm stuck on these platforms. Now, if I hold up and attack, and then press left, what happened there? I beg you wonder. Well, it is a zip. So what's happening is by doing that specifically on a on a tile that we shouldn't be able to stand on, when we hold up and then attack, what we're doing is kind of making the game. We shouldn't be on the tile we're on. So because we pressed up when we did that and sliced, and then pressed left, it zipped us directly up the y-axis to the absolute top of the map. So if I go onto the map, I'm at the absolute top here, on that y-axis where I was. And that's just how the snowfield warp works. And that is one of 3 warps that I'm going to be doing. And they're all separate. They all work in different ways. So that one is a zip by utilizing unpassable terrain by standing on those like lilies or leaves that can't be tread upon, but you need to cut with the sickle. So that's our first big warp. Now the second one is going to be a little bit RNG locked. It may be RNG. I need to get a drop from these walruses. This is a very important drop. This is perhaps one of the biggest things that kills world record runs. However, it's not so bad in a marathon because I need to gain levels anyway. So I'm not too bothered by how long it takes me to get it. But I'm looking for a 1 in 16 drop to get myself a blizzard drop. And the blizzard item is an item that casts the ice spell twice. And I know that's pretty obvious. Where has he gone? He's gone into space. Okay. I lost my walrus. Okay. Hopefully 2 appear rather than 1, maybe? Thank you. There we go. Okay, I only need one. I only need one. Oh no, I wish I was... that wasn't so slow, I'm not going to lie to you. I've got 2 of them, that's dirty. Okay, we're off. I'm just going to reload this screen because these snowmen are horrible. Okay. This is a bit tricky. I'm going to save and reset here. So this second one now is a bit of an... I think this is one of my favourite skips in the game, actually. I think that this one's my favourite. It utilises the flying sword attack that I mentioned the broadsword does. Now, I was mentioning the half-tile movement. I can do this while the gauge is filling up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to break out of this half-tile restriction by using ice tiles and doing a perpendicular flying sword between a half-tile movement, which is hard to explain, but this ice here will push me down, and I'm going to press left and do a flying sword halfway through it. Okay, I was a little bit too late. Too early. Yes, too early. I was too early. Of course. Thanks, mate. But yeah, I want to try and do it. If I do it too early, what happens there is I was on the same x-axis as the ice on the right-hand side, so I got pushed down. But if I do it in between that half-tile movement, I'll kind of be overlapped with the rocks. And what happens is I lose my collision detection because I'm on a part of a half-tile that I should not be on. That is the wrong weapon as well. I completely forgot to change to my sword. Okay, great. This is not what I wanted to happen during the run, but it's okay. But yeah, so a perpendicular flying sword when I'm moving between the half-tile will allow me to break out of the half-tile system, lose my collision detection, and walk straight to the right, and then through the wall, which is hard to get until you see it. There we go. Now these are dead rooms that connect different parts of the map. So what I'm going to do just to show off why, that was in the second half of the game. This is halfway through the game. That is a boss fight with the Full Metal Hugger. You may recognize the Full Metal Hugger. But yeah, that is a different dungeon because the way this game builds its maps is it's kind of like on layers, right? And all the dungeon maps are on the same layer, and then they have different layers like amongst them as well. So the music also changed because I went to a different dungeon. So now I'm going to equip my Blizzard, and I'm going to save, reload, and now by reloading on this screen, I can make enemies spawn. And this is huge, because the next thing to talk about is that when there are different layers, the way that the game goes about changing between the layers in a dungeon like this, it does that by using those screen fades. When the game goes, you see it kind of like fade out. Now, there is a warp below this snowman, but by creating a snowman and having the girl move through it, I bypass that screen fade and do a screen transition to the end of the game. Because the undersea volcano that I was in is next to the that screen there specifically is next to the undersea volcano, but it's locked out by that warp mechanic. But I skipped that by using a snowman and then having the girl's or Livy's hitbox overlap with mine, and every time it overlaps we go 1 pixel through the snowman, which allows me to get behind the warp point. It's a pretty busted thing. So here's the kind of crux of the ending, I guess, where I'm now going to do a grind, because this is the final dungeon. I'm going to go fight the final boss in like a few minutes. But before we do that, I need to grind up. Now, these elephants, or the Dumbos as I like to call them, they have a chance to drop a chest. And in the chest is 2 specific items. Either a unicorn, which is a remedy, just cures all, or it'll be what's called the Aegis Shield, which is the best shield in the game, and deflects the final boss's flare spell, basically. And that's really handy. Okay, I didn't get it. So this is why I'm filling up my inventory. When you have a full inventory, and you can't carry another unicorn because the inventory is full, you can keep checking the chest. Because the chest item is decided upon checking the chest. So if my inventory is full, I can just keep checking a chest over and over again until it becomes an Aegis Shield, and it's no longer a unicorn. So this is why I've been grabbing chests this entire time, so that I have a full inventory, and I can ensure I get the Aegis shield when I need it. Now I'm still beholden to the chest drops, but considering how many Dumbos I have to fight, I should get 3. If I don't, that's not great, but because they're worth 250 experience each Dumbo. So it's about 1,000 if I get 2 and 2 on both screens. And I need to get to like 11,000 experience points. So at this point is now a grind. So this is a great time to throw it over to CC for any messages or any donations, if whatever there is to be read, as I'll prepare for the final boss fight.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody, RPG Limit Break 2022 is coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah. We are raising money for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which was formed in 1979 as a grassroots advocacy organization by a group of parents whose children suffered with serious mental illnesses. And to help with that, we have a couple of donations. $20 from Ashma. Hey, Bowie, good luck on the run. Can't believe people still spell Mystic Quest wrong in this day and age, though. Hashtag fighting class. And $25 from Professor NES again with no comment. Thank you so much. And I just want to remind everybody that we've got bids going on right now in Monster Sanctuary. The Alchemist is currently leading for the main character's costume at $10. You can choose between the Alchemist, Winter Explorer, Dragon Lord, Dungeon Explorer, and Monster Tamer. Man, the choices going on right now. And you can also name the main character. Obi got overtaken and is now Tao. So if you want to get your name in as the main character in Monster Sanctuary, now's the time to do it.
Thank you. We're having a little bit of a nightmare with the Dumbos. One or two can spawn, and if only one spawns, you get half the experience. So I should probably talk about stats a little bit more as I'm doing this, like why am I doing it? I would normally go for the boss fight now at 81 HP. HP and defense are basically linked, so whatever your stamina is, your HP is a set amount based on your stamina stat. So I'll always get the same amount basically if I build exactly the same. So for a marathon safe version of this run, what I do is I will grind up. I would normally go again at 81 HP. This is enough HP and defense to survive one flare shot, but you will get you'll get one hit KO'd by any body contact damage with the final boss. But I'm going to build a lot more stamina. I'm going to go to level 22 rather than to level 17. And that allows me to have like 134 HP. And more attack power as well, so I'll be able to kill the final boss a bit quicker. Because the final boss is 3 phases. The first phase is the hardest. The reason that this is a difficult speedrun to like get a really, really, really good time in is because you do like 30 minutes of prep or 25 minutes of prep just to get to the final boss, and then the final boss can just one-shot you at any point. Because he has a variety of things he can do. Be it fire flares at you or just warp anywhere, and literally he can warp onto you, onto your position and one-shot you, and that's it. Just game over. That's it. Nothing to be done, and it sucks. And I've had runs that definitely were 31, 30 pace that got killed by that. It's not okay. But we're very, very close to finishing up the grind now. 2 more levels. But I like to kind of... Oh god. Thank you. Based on my experience, I could go now. Let's have a look. 127. And I've got... Yeah. Yeah, let's save. 1.2. So I need 6. Or 5, actually. 5. Yeah. That's fine. I need 5. Okay, cool. That's 2. So I need 3 more in the next couple of screens, and there's 2 more screens of elephants. So we're all good. And then when I have 134 HP, because I'm going to get 1 level of strength in the last one. Because I'm a cheater. Oh, God. I would go defense, but I'm feeling pretty fruity today. I'm like, I got this. So I can actually use this chest to showcase what I was talking about, funnily enough. So 134 HP. So Oh, okay, I actually had you use up all my items. No, never mind. That was the last one then. Okay, so let's go with this. I want to equip my crystals. Pop that one there, and equip that one. I'm going to save, and here we go for the final boss. As I say, it's 3 phases. The first one is the hardest. Julius creates... oh, by the way, Julius is the big baddie. We defeat Dark Lord halfway through, and then Julius assumes the power of mana, steals Fuji from us, and ascends to the mana Holy Lands, and tries to take over the power of mana. So we're going to beat him up. Please note that I actually have a Fuji with me as well, or a Livy with me. I've got a Livy with me as well as the... Whoa, Jesus! That would have been GG's. if I was doing a record attempt, that would have been it. Run over, reset. What a game, dude. Okay. Okay, thankfully. Thankfully we have Fuji. Ooh, 1 HP. What a game. Oh, Jesus. So you can see what I mean. This is why the Aegis Shield is so important, to be able to kind of like block these shots. I don't always block them. But when I get a situation to... Alright, mate, calm down. Oh, wow, what a troll. Okay. Alright. Play it safe, Bowie, come on. Stay frosty. So yeah, he can warp, he can speed up whenever he wants. Still not 1 dead, are you kidding me? There we go, jeez. Okay, now as soon as 1 dies, you're much safer. But yeah, as you can see, I'm trying to get the iframes from my flying sword. Okay, here we go, we're good. Don't equip, I don't need to equip anything. And then afterwards we get the second fight, which is a little bit more formulaic, where he has a set formula, and then the final phase is completely scripted. So, okay, good to end on the flying sword, because the enemy starts by moving to the right, so if I'm going to the left, or if I'm on the left-hand side, I don't get hit with my iframes as well, so off we go. And also amazing music, as well as a chaos sprite, so enjoy. Oh god, he went down. This is all about like precise timing of attacks to kind of ensure you get as many hits as possible, and knowing where the safe zones are, and also reacting to him as well, doing dives or not. And then timing the attacks perfectly, obviously, to like catch. I keep missing that one. To catch as many hits as you can when he's diving down. So again, I can make use of the half tile system to just tap my way around the boss and not feel too worried about going too far into him. Too early. There we go. And again, it is quite scary. If the enemy is on a certain position, I can sometimes get hit by the explosion flames, so I've got to be very careful with him. He only dives, he never die. He dives in like certain directions, basically, and so I know where to go. Oh, okay, 1 final fight left. Okay. So remember that there's 1 Livy, that's story Livy that Scott's trying to say, but we've also got glitch Livy who's come with us because we've warped around the map, which is actually a good reason for me to show you a pretty cool like glitch here as well. There are 2 Livys on screen. And if I hold right, it slows the game down because I'm interacting with a Livy that shouldn't be there. So I save, reset, and then the story Livy disappears. So it's now the final fight. And time is coming when I get the final hit, so be ready. So all of his positions are set. I know exactly where he is. I know exactly where to stand. It's completely safe as long as you know what you're doing. And you can get 5 to 6 hits on every single form, so... I know it's only 4 there on the side ones. And this is why the Aegis Shield is so huge. Because you can just block all of these flares, and it's so helpful. Up 2. Safe here. Run underneath. I also want to make sure that when I kill him, I'm killing him from below, because his explosion flames hit to the sides of him. So if I'm bang on underneath him, I won't die. Go for the 5 there. I'm not going to risk it. Okay, if I've been good, it's on the next form, not this one. Oh god, I'm bad. I forgot one form. Oops, that's very silly of me. I never forget forms. It's not, yeah, it's this here now, but yeah. Okay. Okay, there we go. And time. Cool. We got him. There we go. Oh, not a bad fight. Not a bad run. There we go. What was that? 39 something? 40 something? Oh.
3904. Chat was in Monka S mode on your first phase of Julius.
It started off great, didn't it? I got hit down to 1 HP as well. But yeah, thank you so much indeed for watching. It's a crazy run compared to the full Warpless run, as you may have seen before. The Warpless run is a 2-hour run. I'm the only runner to have a sub 2 with a 157, which is hard to get. There's a couple of like 2 flats and 201s, I believe, and there's also a Japanese runner by the name of BOWIEtheHERO who is amazing and has done a lot of kind of mana representation over in Japan at RTA in Japan, alongside a couple of his friends with both this version and the HD remake version. So this is not to be confused with Sword of Mana. So Sword of Mana is a reimagining of this story, but it's not a remake as such. You know what I mean? It is, but it's not. It's kind of like a different version of the same narrative. Because too much is different to be the same, if you know what I mean. But there's a game called Adventures of Mana that actually Smelly McTroll ran, I think 2019, which is, again, just a tile-for-tile HD upgrade. He's going to be running the Secret of Mana HD later in this marathon as well, so make sure to check that out. But this is a really, really cool game, and it's actually really popular in Japan. It's got a lot of love over there, and it's kind of like the beginning of Seiken or the Mana series. So, yeah, it's cool that it started off in such an interesting way and then went on to Secret of Mana. As a final thing, it turns out, by the way, you would learn earlier in the game that Fuji's mother was that woman who saved the world back then. She is the Mana Tree, and now Fuji or Livy, excuse me, will become the new Mana Tree, and Scott is her Gemma Knight who will protect her until his dying breath. Which is a very lovely sentiment, that he will be her guardian as she assumes the new Tree of Mana. But yes, that's Final Fantasy Adventure, or Mystic Quest, or Seiken Densetsu, or Adventures of Mana, or Sword of Mana. It's got so many names. But it's a pleasure to run it again. It was my first, I think the first speed run I did at a marathon, or a live marathon. I think I either did this or Shining Force 2 first, but it was a pleasure to do it then, and it's a pleasure to do it now. Super happy to have RPGLB back. I wanted to be there. I really wanted to be there. I'm sorry I'm not. I have my reasons for not attending this year, but hopefully next time I will be able to celebrate with everyone live in person. So thank you again to the staff for having me. CC, thank you very much for being on hosting duties with me. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, shout outs to all my friends, my Moon Bros, Magus, Happy, Jenny Sake, High Spirits, Moon, everyone. And of course my community, thank you so much indeed for the lovely donations and for supporting me as you always have. NAMI's an incredible cause. We all kind of deal with that kind of stuff all the time. Mental health is not a thing that is for just a select few. Everyone deals with it in some form. So it's never a bad thing to reach out and ask for help. So thank you to NAMI as well. With that, I'll throw it back over to you, CC, and we'll see this out and on to the next run. Thank you very much indeed. Stay classy. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Bowie. That run was sick. That Julius Phase 1 is so intense. I'm like sweating over here and I'm not even running it. That was incredible. We've got some donations coming in here. $10 from Steven with no comment. And $25 from Lady Starbird. It's hard to believe that RPG Limit Break is back and doing well. I wish I could have been there this year, but I love you all and hopefully see you all next time. I had to donate for Monster Sanctuary, one of my favorite games of the last few years, and one that means the world to me. My best friend showed me this game and I fell in love with it. even enough to speedrun. Put this money towards the Winter Explorer costume because winter is coming and the keeper needs to be kept warm. Best of luck and see you all soon. Speaking of Winter Explorer, that is in the lead for the main character's costume for Monster Sanctuary. It leads Alchemist by $20. Dragon Lord, Dungeon Explorer, and Monster Tamer are still in there. It just takes $31 to get them in the lead. You can also name the main character in Monster Sanctuary. Currently in the lead with $25 is Tao. We've got prizes you can win until the Secret of Mana run. A $10 donation gets you in the running for a chance to win the Collection of Mana game for the Switch. And $5 gets you in the running to win a Monster Sanctuary Steam key. Thank you for tuning in to RPG Limit Break 2022. We're going to throw it over to an ad real quick. We will see you on the other side. Alchemist took over Winter Explorer. Tau is still winning.